I actually saw a cat say uh, good something celebratory, and that now I can go buy all of these pay-per-views. And I'm stunned. I'm stunned at the rationale. But okay. Anyway, thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind Sports and Entertainment video. This one might be not safe for work. Um, get into some bite down boxing talk. I actually called like the man underneath Stephen Espinosa to ask if I could get some time yesterday to see what was going on about the Paulie Malignaggi situation, whether it was going to be addressed or not. And of course, nobody got back to me. And and then 2 hours later, the story came out that Paulie was out at Showtime. I'm not really. I'm not gonna stump too hard for him to hold his job. I did talk about it on Instagram, um, in a video on Instagram. But basically, he did the IFL TV video shortly after lightweight champion Devin Haney said that he would never let a white boy beat him. I think he went on to say like 10. If I fight 10 white boys, I beat all 10 or something. And this is the hypocrisy in this, and the inconsistency in all of this is where I just have to fall back and stay in my own lane. But he says that, and then he came out and apologized. Now, partially he apologized because he has a blended family, if you will. He has some biracial siblings, So, maybe the bigger boxing world that came down on him, maybe that wasn't even his motivation for his apology that he issued. Maybe his apology was because he said some stuff to Blood. He might have said some things, that were hurtful to his own blood. Okay, that is a possibility. But the thing, and that's the thing. I'm gonna say some names. Along with Paulie, saying the wrong thing. Let's look at it. When Paulie, so the IFL TV video, Paulie says something. Basically, it's no longer the era of the African American fighter. He said something. The Irish had their moment. I don't know if he said something about the Jews. He did say Jews. And so on and so forth. And then he said the African American fighter dominated the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And then he said, right now, it's the Eastern European. He said that's the dominant species. Now, did a fighter did a fighter use a questionable term? Maybe dominant and species. Maybe. I saw somebody online talking about that's coded racism. I don't know if I agree with that. I think it's just a fighter trying to sound more intelligent. Tons of fighters have said, use less popular words or less popular phrasings. But okay. But my thing is this. When he said this, he's looking at Loma unifying belts at lightweight and coming up a couple of divisions. A few divisions, I believe, at that time. You have Volchdik, Beterbiev, and Bivol up at super middleweight and light heavyweight and cruiserweight, moving up to heavyweight. And then you have, and then at this time, I believe this was after he's watched Tyson Fury, win the majority of the 19 rounds fought with Deontay Wilder. He's also watched that. Now, Ireland or UK is not Eastern European, but he's just saying, hey, brothers ain't doing so hot in this right now. And I think it's the chances and the risks that some of the other fighters from other ethnicities that they're taking. You know, so I don't think everything that he said was a total lie or untruth, or he was stretching things a whole lot. Now, I think more impactful is that he went and said that he didn't really agree with, he didn't believe that systemic racism was driving everything, or was this big argument that the black community makes it out to be. And I think, and then 2 months later or something, the George Floyd situation happens. I thought my timeline could be messed up there. But that's the one thing where I say he is wrong. But it's some things to look into there. But so I get back to what I was getting ready to say with the names, But here's where I had to fall back with some of the YouTube channels on some of the bullshit, the obvious bullshit. I sat here and tried to watch the 78 Sports Cat after the Deontay Wilder, the first fight, December 2018. I sit here and the man, he's emotional in his live stream and actually says that referee Jack Reese put his hand, when he knelt down to do the count, he said that the referee put his hand on Tyson Fury's shoulder and shook him to wake him up. This is what he yells into the camera. It said it a couple of different ways, but did he ever come back and recant that? Did he ever take that back? Did he ever apologize for that? Did he ever tell his audience, man, I'm sorry, man. I was having a moment, I was on some bullshit, it didn't because it clearly didn't happen. Like, this is the biggest of big time boxing, to sit here and say that this man, that a referee sat there and touched a fighter while he was knocked down. I'm just like, what the fuck are we doing here? Really? This is the garbage that we doing? This is what we doing? I ain't been back to his channel since. Now, Fannin and Fannin, whatever it is, him and the barbershop cat, everybody's hero for some reason, they go out here on this, to tear down Terrence Crawford, and go to digging into the trial, to the case that was awarded to the Chris Middendorf or whatever, where he Top Rank was supposed to pay him back some money that didn't get paid. These brothers sat here and with the actual case, with the actual findings or conclusion of that case, they actually sat here and looked into their cameras and lied on Terrence Crawford because they wanted him to be less intelligent and to dog him for being with Top Rank. I read the shit. That was not what Fannin, and he does something in law apparently. But I sat there and read the findings of the case. That was not what he said, was not what was in those words of that document. They just weren't. Then we sit here with Barbershop, with Fred. His whole commentary about the Porters going into the Spence fight is that Sean Porter and Kenny are not black enough. They aren't real black men in comparison to Spence, who's with PBC, and both Porter is too. But it was okay to disparage and demean the Porters because he personally didn't like them and didn't like some of the things that they do or how they do it. Fred's whole thing with Bud Crawford is that I'm more intelligent of a human being than you are. That's his whole commentary on Terrence Crawford. I'm more intelligent than you. And people sit around here and now, last week or yesterday in celebrating his victory with Paulie being taken down, Fred, part of his argument is that if you fight on, this is the simplicity of this bullshit. If you fight on, it's always the man in the system with Fred. Always. He says if you fight on Showtime 10 times, where's your retirement? Boxers are independent contractors. If Showtime pays you great money, good money, the best money going, if they do that, that's part of like operating in good faith and doing right by people. Is paying you top dollar for what you do. You're not an employee of Showtime to where for the rest of your life you get in some benefit package of theirs. It doesn't work like that. This is basic stuff. But again, to push his narrative and to be relevant, that's what you run out here and make it like I'm always fighting for black people. No. If you fight on there 10 times, they pay you top dollars. Why is it not incumbent upon the fighter to either work with his manager or to work with a financial advisor and set this up to where these things happen for you? That's what you are going in there to fight for. Now, if you want all of your money hanging around your neck or parked out in the garage, if that's where all your money went, that's where all your money went. But again, Showtime's job is to pay you fair, to compensate you fairly. You negotiate this, and you agree to what you fight for, and then you go do what you want with your money. But it's always somebody is cheating. Is somebody's getting over on the black fighter, on the black man. Then and lastly, if we're gonna sit here and talk about what Paulie said, how many channels do you sit here and watch? And a lot of these brothers are saying very strong comments about fighters from different ethnicities. You could ask about Claressa Shields' opponents. And some very strong and negative and hurtful comments would be made to cast aside, who these women are, how they fight, what their abilities are. You get in there, you get in some of these chat rooms and the jokes start happening. All kind of distasteful bullshit is said by all kinds of individuals. So I guess my question just becomes, I'm sorry, I don't know what's off limits. I don't know what's in poor taste. I really don't. For Paulie, for him to say that the African Americans it's no longer his era, or he's no longer dominant. I mean, but he used the right terms, didn't he? Use the right phrases. That didn't really upset me. Now, if you want to say, again, I said on Instagram, for him to talk about or to deny or belittle or not show too much concern for systemic racism, I thought that was a learning opportunity in a lot of ways. And like I said, what does Brian Custer say? Let's talk to him. Because a lot of us work with individuals who voted for Trump, who are still going to vote for Trump. We have a lot of individuals who, we work with, we work under, we work for. A lot of people that get all of their information from Fox News. And and Fox News is not going to play up. They probably aren't going to speak 100% on racial inequalities and disparities and all of that shit. They just don't. Now, did he ignore some things that had just happened? I think either the Arbery situation. I can't think of where the George Floyd situation was. But again, everybody is out here talking reckless. And when does anybody go back and apologize for anything or take anything back? So ViacomCBS, I believe, is the parent company of Showtime. They asked the reports were the Ring TV article said that they asked Paulie to apologize, and he didn't. And that's why I'm asking now. Like, how many of these brothers have taken anything that they said back, or maybe I was too strong right there. Maybe I was a little heavy-handed right there. I'll never take nothing back. Come on and say bold-faced lies. I don't retract none of this shit. So, Paulie stayed on his square and, opted not to apologize. And, he's gone. Now, the whole Nick Cannon thing, I'm going to be honest with you, whether he should have apologized or meeting with the rabbi or whatever he did or whatever, you have the job. The positions that you have on the networks that you have. And if you want to go on a podcast with Professor Griff and basically engage in barbershop talk, what we would say in the barbershop and what's going to fit into what Professor Griff has been doing all along, wrong, right, or indifferent. If you want to do that, you're gonna have to suffer some consequences. You got shit to lose. Professor Griff didn't have shit to lose. You got major shit to lose. So, did I disagree with all of it? Did I agree with all of it? That's his thing. Like I said, right now, man, we in an era where everybody want to say everything that's on their mind, and I don't talk about everything on here. I've been saying that it's different stories out there. Yeah, if we were at the gym or in a bowling league and billiards, pool league or something, I have some thoughts to share on some of this stuff. We were at the work at the coffee machine or at the water cooler. Yeah, I talk about some of this stuff. But again, I'm not trying to run out here on everything with all of my opinions and views. I don't see great benefit in that. Then lastly, in closing, the focus on the bullshit of boxing. All week long it's been Gary Russell Jr. and Terrence Crawford and an incident outside of the ring. All this bullshit going on. And nobody talking about these brothers who are getting ready to fight Saturday night and all of the things that the changes and what's going on with them and what the risks that they're taking. Nobody gives a shit about none of that. I've been on these virtual press conferences with these fighters, Rais Salim, Marcus Bates-Nod of DC, Tremaine Williams getting ready to fight for his first world title fight against Angelo Leo before Stephen Fulton Jr. fell off the card. Where was everybody who want to talk boxing? Where was everybody? Anyway, man, my name is Wood. Good luck with all of this shit. Bite down boxing. Don't let them count you out. Enjoy the fights this weekend if you get around to watching some boxing. Peace.